So if there are any French Gotchi gang that are interested in meeting up, reach out to GFA or Let's Go Bankless, and we'll let you know if that's going to happen or not. I think it will, but yeah, we'll keep everyone abreast of that.
GM, everybody.
Hey, GM, sir.
Hello, hello. Glad
But
to see
yeah, speaking of
everybody.
meetups, we're 2 weeks away from SmartCon, so things are starting to get in place. Starting to get pumped for that.
Ooh, SmartCon. This is SmartCon number 2 now, right? SmartCon 2.
Yeah. Did they? Yeah, I guess. How many times have they done it now? Is this the second one?
No, this is actually the third one because there was a SmartCon
Okay.
0 that I
Oh,
actually went
nice.
to. It was like during COVID, so it was like an online one, and that's the only SmartCon I've ever been to. But
Got it.
we'll make it there IRL one day.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be pretty cool. We got there's a pre-game event where myself, Nigel, Andy, and Slama are all gonna be kind of presenting our games, showing people what Gotcha Gang is cooking. And also, it'll be really cool to see people are going to be able to play the games, and we can kind of stand behind them and watch, which is not something we've gotten so far with kind of being a fully remote team. So I'm really excited just to like sit there and watch people play the games and see their reactions and see what they do that fits our expectations or if they get completely confused. It's going to be a really good learning experience for everyone on the team. So very excited. And I mean, these games, right? You guys have been. We put out the dev update a couple weeks ago, and then just this Friday we put out the kind of whip thread. It's a new Gotchi Gang staple that we're going to be trying to. We've kind of committed to doing that every week now because I think it's really cool. There's so much whip content that doesn't make it into like the official dev update each month that I think it's very needed. Good time to show off all the fun stuff that the team's been working on and like a little bit
Yeah,
of the process.
I think it's important. It's probably overdue, but the games were so early in development for so long. Now they're
Yeah,
getting to a point where visually there's a lot of fun stuff to share. So
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I seen the interview with No Future and Jason Slama. That was really good. That was a lot. There
yeah.
was a
That
lot
just
of
came
alpha in
out.
there.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about that a little bit. I mean, future now that it's out, anything that you wanted to highlight in that,
Yeah,
or anyone
actually,
who's
I'm
seen it?
showing from the work in progress right now the video of the bridge. When I was talking with Slama, like this was just an idea, the bridge. He was talking about it, but it still wasn't like shown yet. So seeing that there's actually a video of it already is kind of crazy that it's like developing that fast.
Yeah, it's been one of his like early ideas to have kind of a map that can be altered by the players and throw a wrench in certain strategies that maybe you're hoping that someone won't do the bridge and then they notice that you've picked a certain strategy and so they're like, yeah, I'm gonna spend a little bit of money to build that bridge and it's gonna maybe give me an advantage. So this kind of idea of, because it is kind of a competitive tower defense, that you can try and strategize and change the map to get an edge over other players is kind of fun.
Yeah, that Gotchi Guardians, man. There's so much going on that map, but it's so interesting how while there's a lot going on, that you can still actually focus on your on your actual avatar, on your player. Even though there's like things going on over here, there's the towers, there's the dire tires coming out trying to attack your Gotchi, and then still being able to like
Yeah.
focus in that chaos was I'm sure it's like not that easy to do.
Yeah, it's there'll be definitely layers to the experience for sure. Like once you've really mastered the basics, you'll start going over and watching what other players are doing and be like trying to exploit their strategic decisions, take advantage of that and do better than them. So and while all the while it's like trying to control your gotchi and make sure that it doesn't take too much damage, or that it is properly leveled up and things. So very, very strategic game. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. But we're trying to make it simple enough as well that it's not like too much cognitive load for the player, because otherwise that's not very fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Easy to jump in and just kind of pick up and play kind of game for sure.
Yeah, and the strategy, if you watch the gameplay, like I came into seeing the gameplay for the first time with him, thinking like tower defense. I have to set up my defenses, and that's going to prepare me to win. But Slama was constantly talking about like the strategy of it, like adding enemy spawn points, because that earns you income, which gets you upgrades. So you can't get as far in the game unless you're willing to take the damage or the potential damage from setting up enemies, which is kind of counterintuitive. Like for me as a player, I'm like, I just need to build up my defenses. It's like, no, I also have to enable them to attack me so I can score higher and then build the defenses up even higher, while also being able to check on the progress of all the players, where they're at, kind of what they've set up to try to exploit them, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's like very 4D chess kind of game. If you just build towers, you're probably not going to win, because you won't have enough income. People will be blowing by you in income, and they'll be able to eventually build like the higher level towers. Or he hasn't even gotten to the gotchi upgrades part. But the third kind of leg of this, with the first leg would be like the towers, second would be the summoning of liquidators, and then there's going to be a third angle, which is powering up your gotchi with that also uses the gold. So there'll be kind of three strategies that you'll be leveraging to try and achieve victory. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of different combinations that emerge from this and different gameplay.
Oh man, I could imagine someone creating like a web page, like a website for like the Gotchi Guardians alpha walkthrough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to actually use like a lot of those with games. There's always somebody that's built a website that's like, come here for the alpha. This is the meta of the game, and like that's going to be a whole nother thing that we haven't seen in Aavegotchi yet. Yeah, a lot of alpha to unpack, friends, in this latest blog post. You guys are also working on the Gotchiverse, District 1, right? The Citadel mock-up.
Yeah, we're kind of in the process of taking all, I think it was 400 assets that have been created over the past 2 years, and converting those, not really converting because they're already technically in 3D, but adjusting them and fine tuning and optimizing them to be in a Unity scenario, kind of like a Unity setting. So that we've got this kind of walkabout map set up where you can just kind of walk through, see what everything looks like next to each other. So it's not specifically like D1, but it is just a nice walkthrough of like all the different scenes that we've set up so far and all the different assets. So yeah, there were some screenshots of like the gotchi flying through and near like one of the portals that were just really cool to see. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to the kind of vision of the trailer where everything just looks really, really beautiful. And we have this kind of immersive gotchi experience.
Oh man, what's your favorite asset so far? Because you've seen some of these come out of development, or like you said, you've seen the assets already. What's your kind of like favorite 3D asset, like aesthetically so far in 3D?
I have actually not been able to walk through it yet.
Oh,
I think it's that there's a I've been watching them do it because there's we're having an issue exporting the build to the Mac Intel, and I think they just got that fixed like this week. So finally, I get to jump in and play the game like in the arena, and also do the oh, here we go. We got Andy here. Hello, sir. And also be able to do the walkthrough. So I'm excited, to finally be able to walk through and fly through with my gotchi. But I mean, just looking at all the assets, Yeah. Until I've really felt it, it's hard to say. I
Yeah.
mean, they all look so good, like the altars, the reservoirs, and then a ton of the lights and stuff that we never really put out properly. They all look pretty neat.
Yeah. The
But maybe some of the raffle stuff.
the raffle
I
stuff.
do.
You know what? I haven't walked through yet either, and I'm waiting to see the godlike rugs and the mythical
Oh,
rugs.
yeah.
Oh,
I want to see how those are looking. So
oh,
there's a long list of things we all want to see in 3D. I think like how do they get handled?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like that mythical poncho, Zbot just did such a great job with the coloring and everything on it. I think it's gonna look super psychedelic in 3D. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that. But also the other one for me that I have seen is the farmer outfit, which was never really my favorite. The Gotchi farmer was never really my favorite 2D asset, but like seeing it in 3D with that like really crispy grain on the hat and everything,
Hmm.
the really high quality rendering, I think it has to be one of my favorite sets so far that I've seen in 3D.
Yeah, we're currently working on the kind of the Link Marine set, and that's looking really. I wouldn't say it's not close to perfect yet, but it's definitely taking shape and looking very cool. The team is really firing on all cylinders now. Everyone's working on 3D asset conversion at the moment.
Yep.
So we'll have a lot more, I think, in the for SmartCon and in the next dev update. I think we're going to have a good showcase of a lot of 3D assets soon.
I'm watching the video of the Gotchi moving, I guess, through the Gotchiverse. You saw the liquidators, you see it seeing all like the potions and raffles and stuff like that. This looks great. This feels like a first-person shooter. Will Gotchis have both the range and melee attacks like they do currently in the arena?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
wonder if Andy's around, if able to talk, it might be if he's available. We could talk a little bit about the arena because we do talk a lot about Guardians, but not always have we're not always talking about arena. But there's a lot happening there as well. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and raise your hand, sir, bring you on. Drop some alpha
Yeah,
about the arena.
it looks great. I've been playing a lot of first-person shooters, so the vibe here is like, oh, this is going to be great. Like we've been
Mm-hmm.
hosting Twitter Spaces where we play Web3 games, and some of them are first-person shooters. Those are the ones that people love the most. So seeing this, it's like, oh, this will be easy to get people to play.
Yeah,
There he
hopefully
is.
it strikes a balance of familiar yet like uniquely Aavegotchi. So I see Andy's on stage now.
Hi everyone.
Yo.
GM.
Yeah.
Good to be here. I think I've only been here once to actually speak when I first joined, but yeah, happy to answer any questions. I guess I was 10 minutes late. I was busy doing some other things on a Saturday, but I just heard the question kind of around what's the kind of flavor of arena, like a first-person shooter kind of thing. So technically third person because you are technically behind your gotchi whilst playing. And that means you can do things like peer around corners, which you can't really do in first person. Like you can kind of lean in other games, I'm sure, but third person allows you to kind of like see what's on the other side by just peering the camera around. And yeah, I've played a lot of games. I grew up with games when I was a kid. I'm an only child, so like unless there were friends in the road for me to play with, I was always on my computer, and therefore, yeah, I've played a lot of games. I've seen a lot of games being built, both in my own in the own studios that I've worked at, and obviously around the world. And I truly think that what we've got here with Arena, is quite unique. The fact that we have a third party in the game with us, these liquidators that are trying to attack us, really makes that particularly unique. The fact that you can float as well, like these are little ghosty marshmallows, aren't they? Ghost. What did you say they were made of? Cheese the other day, Dan, didn't you? So
Right, goat
little,
cheese.
little made of feta. These things. So yeah, they the fact that they can float adds verticality to the game as well, which I haven't seen in any other game other than maybe Apex Legends, maybe, and occasionally Fortnite when they add the Spider-Man gauntlets. And yeah, the fact that there's the special weapon blocks dropping from the sky, which are like Mario Karts, you know, whereas other games kind of literally just drop, you know, AK-47s and, you know, rockets, things like that, and they're available to every player. These are unique based off kind of where you are in the leaderboard of the arena in the current game. Then they're there to even the playing field. So essentially, you know, it might look kind of fast-paced, the kind of videos that you've seen, and you might be worried, am I going to be competitive in this? But things like that are there. You know, the liquidators and special weapons blocks are there to kind of even the field. So, yeah, hopefully that clears things up. Everyone's in shock at what I said.
Yeah, I'm watching the video now.
Mic drop, boom.
Yeah, that's it. Andy just ruined the meeting. Everybody go home. No, this looks great. I want to ask. I see that there are, I guess, prototypes of different monuments, like some large-scale monuments in the video that I'm watching here. Are we going to see these monuments all over the Gotchiverse and in the arena? Some of them are like large Gotchis, like a statue to a liquidator. We see the tree of FUD. What can we expect when seeing the 3D Gotchiverse?
So I can only assume that you're talking about the video that went up in the last dev blog.
Yeah.
Is that right? The walkthrough. So what we've got there are, I think, over 400 assets of the original pixel art that was converted to 3D. And yeah, like the plans there are essentially just to look at everything, and like we're doing with our 2D lovable pixel gotchis, essentially look at them and kind of go, what makes them what they are, and how does that convert to 3D? How can we just improve it for 2023 for kind of modern gaming? That means, you know, the additional kind of shaders and detail that can be afforded on modern day, you know, computers and mobile phones or whatever you want to maybe play on. Without losing that original charm and that original cute factor or whatever the hell it may be. So all the assets, you know, that you see there, likely, it might take us a long time, are all going to be converted and up-resed and made super pretty with all these additional lighting and shaders and polygons and detail, whatever it may be. And then, you know, long-term, the Gotchiverse, you know, all of those assets will be things that you see out there in the Gotchiverse. Quite in what order, in what arrangement, we're still obviously working that out. But, you know, rest assured, there's so much amazing stuff there. It would be, you know, it would be a waste for it to go to waste, wouldn't it, really? So, yeah, the plan is to basically up-res all of those things, make them look super pretty in the kind of modern day gaming space.
Yeah, amazing. I see, you know, just looking at all this stuff, we see the harvesters, reservoirs, like different decorations and stuff like that. What's your vision for like the vortex? Like, I'm assuming we're still going to be going to vortexes and like, I guess, emptying our pockets if we've picked up anything in game. Will they look similar to what we see in the 2D version, upgrade to 3D, or do you have a new like vision for what the vortex will look like?
You are going to have to... You've caught me out there. I am not aware of what a vortex is. Maybe Dan can or Jesse can fill me in.
Yeah, it's the I'm sure you've used it. It's the name for where you pull out your alchemica when you're hunting alchemica in the game. You got to go there to empty your pocket, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, you know, I'm imagining that there's going to be kind of a unified inventory for all this stuff. You know, you've got your craftable items, you've got your protolix, you've got your item, your HP and AP potions, you've got your inventory for what you want to place on your land parcels. So, you know, maybe talking out of turn here, but I imagine all that stuff is going to be almost like a backpack that you can just press on in the game and open it up, and everything is inside for you to essentially use. So that's the long-term vision for that. But yeah, you have caught me out there. I have not used many vortices, I guess, in the past. So I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah, the Gotchiverse team has been really focused on the first iteration of the arena and just making sure that that's a super solid experience. At the same time, the art team has been working on the asset conversion. So they haven't really started mapping out the next gen of Gotchiverse metaverse gameplay yet. because they've been focusing so much on the arena. But safe to say, I mean, I think there will be definitely an improvement of the gameplay, large improvement over what we have right now, and I think things are going to be quite different from the 2D version, but in a good way.
Hmm.
Yeah, we try to keep the best parts, like the social aspect, the picking up of the Alchemica, you know.
Super chats, those were all really fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in the Gotchiverse, and there continues to be. But then there's these holes in game design where Andy's gonna just be like, you know, we've had conversations about like kind of basic stuff that we skipped over with the original Gotchiverse. For example, you have to have something to play when you get in, like that onboarding. That first 20 minutes has to be like super perfect. Every minute needs to be accounted for. There can't be any like guesswork. So you're really guiding and making sure whoever comes in for the first time has a great first experience and then has a reason to come back. So thinking in those terms, like Andy's going to be applying all of that to Gotchiverse. But right now, it's arena time. Get that arena going.
Nice. With the arena, are you guys taking a similar approach to, Gotchi Guardians, where someone who does not own a Gotchi will still be able to have that great experience getting in there? Or are we still, getting in there with an observer and then renting a Gotchi if you want to, of course, be part of the arena and battle in the arena?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much we want to kind of talk about that when things aren't set in stone just currently. But
Gotcha.
as with SmartCon, I will always be as honest as I can with you. From my past projects, community work and speaking with you guys is super important to me. And but equally, I don't want to get everyone's hopes up or say something wrong here when
Right.
actually we may change direction. But as you can see from SmartCon, which is in 2 weeks' time, we are going to need a system where players can literally just walk up to the computers and be able to play, right? So we are implementing a system there where there are some kind of archetypes. So there is a knight, it's only been since yesterday, sat at my desk. A knight, a infantry, little Gotchi, a witch, a raver girl, farmer, and we've got some more kind of down the line. And they're supposed to be archetypes of gameplay. So somebody with a sword and a shield, somebody with a gun, somebody with a grenade, somebody with a magic wand, etc. All the kind of combinations of melee, ranged, protection and throwing kind of damage in there. So you can imagine that in the future something similar might be available to all the millions of players that are going to come to play our game as well.
Yes, please.
Quite
Yes.
how that works out, we are unsure still. But there are a number of options on the table.
We're all for it. We were talking about this last night, actually. How this is probably a trend we're gonna see in blockchain NFT gaming. We had a guy come on the Twitter space who's into building arcade machines, and he was talking about his kind of retro gaming experience, and it was really cool to hear the insight of somebody from just pure traditional gaming world saying, like, I just want to play games. Like, I think NFTs are cool and they add a lot of use case and value and ownership, but like games have to be fun and they have to be kind of low investment up front. Let people enjoy the game, enjoy the assets and everything. And then when they become fans and super fans, they'll buy their gotchis and their wearables and get even more obsessed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are our most important people, right?
Yeah.
You guys, the most dedicated, passionate fans who have been around from long before I came along, right? So you guys are our priority, but equally, I'm sure you would not mind if a million players all suddenly
not
got
at all.
attracted to the game, and then we converted some of those to become people like yourselves who loved Gotchis, who owned Gotchis, who bought wearables, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, you guys can obviously sell too as long-standing members of the community and stuff. So yeah, do not think that we are, or I have just come in with a kind of Web 2 traditional brain to just kind of create those type of experiences. No, absolutely not. This is a Web 3 company. This is a Web 3 game, and you guys are the priority.
Hey, I will say though, the Web 2 approach is important. Like from running the game nights, I can tell you, like when I try to get people into the arena, they end up using observers, or it's just more of a difficult process to get them fully in with rentals right off the top. I only have a couple minutes to get them into the game. So having a like standardized version of a gotchi that you could pick up and jump right in with is going to be great for onboarding. It doesn't have to be an OP gotchi. You got to choose a few of the basic ones, but it will lead people down the rabbit hole to eventually make an in-game profile and then maybe get some assets and then kind of onboard them to the Web3, those who are interested. And, you know, our community is small. I talked about this with Slama. Like, if you have a game that hits 1 million players and even 1% of them want to check out the game, you know, that's crazy for our NFT collection. That's going to be huge. So I'm very like, you know, getting it right and making it fun is like the top mission.
We're on it.
Amen to that. Absolutely.
Yep. Yes,
Heck yeah,
sir.
you guys are doing great. You're doing great.
Oh yeah.
Andy's also very involved with the character design because it's kind of a crossover between his game and the Gotchiverse and Arena, his games, as well as anybody else that's going to be building on this, right? So we'll be able to all plug in and use the same 3D avatar versions of our beloved Gotchis. And so that's a big project that's got basically its own kind of cross-team that's working together on this. So it makes everybody happy for every game. And you can see, you know, last week we tweeted out this knight. It's kind of the captain knight or something. He's a little bit more senior based on that facial hair. And yeah, I don't know. I still don't know if those are angel wings or maybe it's a mustache for this. We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't expect Andy to confirm or deny any of this. But I think it's beautiful whether it's an angel wing or a mustache at this point. It looks like it has potential.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. Why not?
Gotchi flies by its mustache. It just flaps and kind of takes off.
Oh, there it is. Tommy got
Yeah. That's right.
All kitted out there. Got your cactus and everything.
Mustache wings.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 3D Gotchis work, very work in progress. What was the most recent you saw? The Link Marine? I think I saw my white jacket as well, my favorite avatar.
Yep, yeah, the white jacket is definitely being worked on. Funny thing about that, the artist who's working on it is fairly new to the team. Very, very good work. Just super pro. But he thought that the pockets, he didn't know what a mesh dress was, so he was looking at the pockets and he thought it was like a calculator and like something in like a ruler or a calculator. So I had to be like, nope, those are actually, those are badges, those are military, there's a Navy mesh dress, and showed him all that. But he was like, oh, that's cool.
I'm glad you corrected him because I did see it and I thought, oh, it looks great. Was my first reaction, and then I thought about it. I was like, but it's not military.
Yeah, we have some very like specific references. Like, they're doing the hair right now, the beard and some of the hair, and then like I have to show them like this is the Stanny hair, and they're like, well, who's Stanny? So I gotta pull out Stanny. Like it needs to look kind of like this. Doesn't need to look, exactly, but
no, every strand needs to match.
We're just gonna make a digital version of Stanny, and then they're like the Sergey beard.
We're analyzing Sergey's beard for half hour.
You guys need to ask for a 3D head scan of Sergey so you can actually get the proper beard strands and everything.
Slamo, right. I saw at one point Slamo was in there and he was like, guys, like notice how he's combing and brushing his beard. I
will try and get I'll find Sergey and I'll try to pluck a strand from his beard. We'll make a polyjuice potion out of him.
Oh man.
Special potions.
But yeah, we'll definitely have more examples. This stuff it's too raw at this point for it's too laughable, but the ones it's a little bit further along will definitely, I think, for next week's whip thread, we should have some stuff to show.
No, so
I
far
appreciate how
it's
you
awesome.
release stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because like when I was with Slamma, he's showing me the like at the beginning of the video, he's showing me mock-ups. So in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, like they're still very early in all of this, and then it jumped from mock-up to here's the actual play. You know, the brute force character in the game throwing projectiles that quickly from just the concept all the way up to the actual working model of it, the prototype. So I appreciate that approach because it's like, you know, it's a punch to the face with information, and it's good for us.
Yeah, he showed so many of the towers on that video with you. I think if anyone's interested in tower defense at all, they're going to enjoy that video, regardless of gotchis or not. There's some of the most like thoughtful characters I've seen imbued into a tower before.
Like we're giving Plants versus Zombies a run for their money, I think, with this game.
Seriously, it's like a lot of thought going into these towers. They're literally characters you could you want to build lore and stories around. So it's just a tower, but it's really good.
Yeah, and friends,
has everybody seen the brute force? I mean, I'm curious. That's my personal favorite. I don't know which one stood out to you in the future, but they're all pretty good. But
I like the brute force. I like the baby pot that's under it that ducks down every time the arm swings. But I'll tell everybody here, since we have a decent number of people here, in the video, Slama shows a new character that has like a missile above its head, and we talked about it briefly. I have not had any luck trying to think of a name. So if you have names for that character, we were encouraging people in the video, drop them into the comments of the video on either Twitter or on YouTube or both. That's also great. Also retweet and or repost it, you know, like reply to it, so that we can, you know, the team can get an idea of what to name that character.
Right. It's got to be everything is kind of crypto names. Like we got brute force is like a brute force attack. It's a crypto thing, and then fun guy is, well, it's not really. I guess that's not really super crypto, but it's got mushrooms in it. So we're aiming to have crypto names for all the like crypto inspired names for all the towers. Yeah, Sybil is definitely a cool word. That might make it into one of them.
Sybil attacker.
Ooh, Andy's got some alpha there. General Crash is one of the military. So wait, they don't know what are we talking about here? Do you want to come back on stage, sir, and tell them about the observers? Who's the observation windows?
Yeah, I'm curious.
How do I bring him back up?
I invited him to speak.
There he is. Okay, cool. Oh, here's
Hey there.
Bruce. Hey.
Yeah, I closed my window by accident. I've got a few windows open currently. So, yeah. So I think even before I joined, one of the first conversations I had with Dan was about my approach to getting things in game, and my approach is always kind of like, what's the lore of it? Like, what is the reason for these things? And therefore, approaching Arena, I think we deliberated a few times on what actually is the Arena, and we ended up on it is if the liquidators have attacked the Gotchis in the past, and now is a kind of detente, like the liquidators have disappeared away and are due to return at some point, then the Gotchis are essentially regrouping and want to train as many Gotchi kind of like civilians up as possible in readiness for a second potential attack, and therefore the Arena is a training facility. That would make sense. It's not a barracks, but it's like a training facility run by the military Gotchis, the military faction of the Gotchis, but also the scientists, because the scientists are providing these liquidators for you to fight, and therefore it made total sense therefore that we would have these observation lounges above the arena where the military and scientific gotchis are looking down on you. And obviously we want to populate those with different characters. So yeah, there's a variety of scientists and things like that. And I won't spoil too much, but there is a kind of military gotchi in there, you know, dressed in the marine cap and marine uniform, and a big moustache there. And he's obviously one of the most important gotchis on the military side, looking down on you. There are others. I can't spill too much like tea here, obviously on that kind of stuff. But yeah, there are others that you will see up there, including one mystery character that will appear.
And they won't necessarily do anything. Like they're not going to influence the battle. Maybe. I mean, maybe they will in the future. But it's just kind of cool to be like playing, and then they might switch out occasionally, and you might be like, oh man, like the general's watching my battle. It's kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Just some fun eye candy.
Yeah. So it adds a bit of. It adds a little bit of extra eye candy, like you said. It adds lore to the game as well. I haven't seen it in other games as well, so it makes it unique. And yeah, it just totally makes sense. So yeah, that's the kind of my approach to these kind of things. And hopefully, when you see it, you'll be looking upwards and seeing all these gotchis in judgment above you.
Yeah, taking notes.
And to be clear, those will be like NPCs that are part of the story, right? We're not talking about like actual, like, although that could be a whole other part where, you know, I spend some glitter so I get some time in the VIP lounge. So like you look up and Andy's up there. His actual avatar is like watching the game.
Well, you mentioned that, and this is not something that has gotten developed yet. Maybe it has. I haven't seen it, but we did discuss a little bit about like having NFT displays in the arena. So kind of like almost like a cyberpunk vibe in some areas of the arena where you're running around and there's like an NFT, a fake gotchi or something displaying on the wall, which I think would be pretty cool. And people could like rent out that space, and it would show in all the different battles that are happening. I think that's a kind of a cool integration of art and lore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely in the list. Quite how the pieces are decided is still up for debate. You know, either it's something that people can actually purchase that space, almost like an ad board, or it's a space that you win by doing something else. So imagine if you won the arena leaderboards that particular season, then you get your any fake gotchi that you've created up on there, which would be lovely. But that is undecided.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a few things that have to happen first for it to really matter. But if we do our part and make a great game and get it in the hands of people, imagine like you got even just 100,000 players coming in and playing, and then fake gotchis are like exclusively they get to display their artwork in front of this amazing number of people. I mean, I can't think of any other art collection out there in crypto art that has that, you know, benefit. You can't put like the fake bitcoins or really anything for the best they can do is like go to crypto voxels. Like,
I mean, the only other game that's kind of done that is was it Up Only, or is it Only Up? I think it's Up Only, with like the Goblin Town stuff was kind of cool.
Right. And that was really well received. People on Twitch
it was.
Like, people were playing this game, and what's all this Goblin Town stuff?
Yeah.
Kind of the same idea. Yeah, they did do it to some extent. Their only downfall is they're missing the community curated art gallery. So we have that to input.
Oh man, foreign gotchi here, dropping the steady lad for this character. That's a pretty good name, friend.
Oh, that is
yeah.
Steady lad. Don't drop it. Great name. Oh, that's funny.
Good one.
I imagine he because I know like Slama puts a lot of work into the little things with the animations and stuff. I feel like this guy could trip and fall anytime. I hope he
does.
Especially with a name like that. Might occasionally slip. Funny.
We'll have to explain. I don't know if Slama will know the joke, but that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. But it works even if you don't. It just sounds cool. Steady lad. So that's not bad at all.
I like that.
Should he be throwing FOMO missiles or change it to a different alchemica?
You know, I heard you on the video when you were talking about Slama. Kind of seemed like you were thinking maybe there's some other words that could go there. I mean, FOMO definitely has that Looney Tunes Acme kind of vibe that he was going for, but does it make sense to be chucking FOMO? Or I don't know. What was your like kind of gut reaction? Were you like, oh, it should be FUD? Or
I thought it should be FUD, but if it's steady lad, then it should be FOMO because it's kind of part of it, right? You're being led to your doom by this like siren of financial like success.
Yeah. Good point. It kind of goes together really well from that perspective. I've never heard it put that way, but that really is what FOMO is. It's the siren of financial success. Crash on the shore.
Yeah, there's going to be multiple levels, so maybe there'll be like a FUD, like the low level one is like FUD, and then FOMO. That could also be how we could do it. But yeah, I'm sure. However, Slum ends up doing it, it'll be dope. Safety third.
Is that a Burning Man experience? I know he was just there, so
Right.
Probably is.
Yeah. Escape, finally back. Oh my gosh.
made it back to
The
reality.
rumors of cannibalism and Ebola were unfounded.
Okay. Imagine that, the internet amplifying something. Okay. No, I'm sure it was a little hectic though. Just a little Ebola. No big deal.
Nothing a little vitamin C can't fix. Just kidding. It's Ebola.
It's a face mask thing. You wear a face mask and you'll be fine.
Only a flesh wound.
I guess while I'm up here, real quickly, are there any choinas in the crowd? Do we have anything that we need to sign as directors? Since there's probably enough of us here to get any signatures or transactions through that we have to.
Yeah, we'll let him. We're about 15 minutes out, heading towards the DAO half of the meeting. So definitely a good question.
The dower.
The DAO hour. Oh my God.
We might be joined today by, I'm not sure if they might be ready in time, but I know we were talking to Lord Trivia, who might have an interesting proposal for the DAO. So
Nice.
that's definitely something to look forward to. And we're going to spend some time on the mission statement today as well. So that's going to be good. We're getting down to the bottom of it, friends. We're getting close.
Getting close. Yeah.
Real
I think
close.
so.
Looks like Scrooger from Gotchi Heroes might be sharing something as well. What's this?
Oh,
Our
nice.
proposal to revamp Gotchi Heroes is live. Oh, okay. Definitely check that out.
While we got a little time here, I'll just do a recap again. We were in Singapore. We had Hanny from the team was in Singapore, repping us at Token 2049. Went really well. I think she made some good connections and built some bridges with some other Web3 teams. So it was really cool to see that. And then upcoming.
Just before we move on from that, like the photos you see there, that first photo, if you guys recognize Yusef, he's like super OG at Animoca Brands, like first hire, back in the day, thing, like Yatsu's best buddy. So that was pretty cool to see them hanging out, and all the others too. But definitely putting in the work in Singapore this week.
That was only a few. I know she met quite a few others that we did get some pictures with. I don't think we've gotten those tweets out yet. But she had a very busy couple days at Token 2049.
Yep, they had an Ethereum Singapore chapter kind of hackathon on the side that she attended, and
nice.
In addition, meeting all our different partners and guilds and the yield guilds, everybody out there. So shout out to all of them that got to meet up.
Nice.
Busy week.
Are you going to the ETH Chicago, sir?
Yeah, so it started yesterday. I'm gonna try to get up there today, and just try to keep that afternoon schedule clear and go check it out. It's pretty cool. It's the one we mentioned that's on top of the Sears Tower, Willis Tower, and yeah, 3 day hackathon, and then like a lot of policy stuff. So I don't know. I feel like Aavegotchi, they should definitely like. It's a weird thing. I'm not like jumping up and down to play the like get involved in policy or anything, but at the same time, Aavegotchi's we're doing like a lot of things right, and it's a model that those kind of
Yeah.
conversations should be aware of. So I'll go talk to him about the DAO and some of the good stuff that we've set up here.
Yeah, I saw it was I think Delphi Digital had a tweet just I think it was yesterday talking about like bringing like making ICOs great again with DAO ICOs and things. So just like yeah, we've literally run the entire DAO ICO route successfully, and it really is kind of a cool model that more projects should try to emulate. So I think it's we have a lot of things to be proud of as a community to mention if there are any kind of policy conversations. On the other front, we got Barcelona. Obviously, we talked about at the beginning of the call, but there will be several members of Pixelcraft there for SmartCon. Myself and Nigel, our CMO, will be giving speeches there, and I'll be kind of talking about Chainlink integrations and kind of the giving the audience a future roadmap for how we're going to continue gaming and talking about Gotchi chain too. So if anyone from the community, if you know anyone that's in Spain or or Barcelona or anywhere around it, and they're interested in meeting up, we might hold some sort of meetup in Barca around the conference area. So reach out to probably Nigel or myself for that if you are in the area and would like to attend. And then after that, we are planning I think it's going to happen, a meetup in somewhere in France, probably South France, because I'll be going there after Barcelona. I'm really excited to meet some of our French Gotchi gang, one of our biggest language communities in the entire world. So it'd be really cool to meet up with some other Gotchi gang while I'm in southern France. So if you are interested in that, reach out to Let's Go Bankless or anyone from Gotchi Farmy Army to Gotchi Farmy to get connected with that.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out for SmartCon. If by chance you are available, you can get tickets still through Eventbrite to actually hit the show floor and come meet us all. So,
yep.
That's the big one night only gaming focused event that we're sponsoring and showcasing our games on the floor of. Andy will be there, Slama will be there, Coder Dan will be there, Nigel.
This is still unconfirmed yet, but for the France meetup, we actually are Let's Go Bankless is actually calling some like gaming cafes and stuff, and we're gonna try and see if they will let us install our games on their computers, so we could do a little gaming meetup in France, but it's still unconfirmed yet.
And which do we even know which city it would probably be in France, or could people start circling?
Yeah, I think Lyon. It's kind of about an hour and a half, I think, away from Paris. Yeah, Lyon. It kind of just makes sense for, we don't want to go all the way to Paris, and too south, like near the border of Spain, is too far for people to go from Paris. So Lyon is kind of a nice midpoint for everyone to meet up in. Maxi Crouton would love to see you, friend. It'll probably be that weekend after SmartCon, so I think that's like October 7th is what we're looking at.
That's super cool. So SmartCon pregame is in Barcelona October 1st, and then the week after, you guys getting together in France and Lyon. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, doing some gaming hopefully. That'll be some pretty big alpha. So we got the Gotchi Farmy, and the French community has lots of gamers. So excited to be able to share some of the if they didn't make it to SmartCon, to be able to show off some of the games and get some live feedback from people on the ground.
Hell yeah. Gotchi Farming repping strong. I remember they were at
Mm-hmm.
in Barcelona. I think there was an event recently. Not recently, it was a couple months ago, but I was just saying Gotchi Gang really is worldwide. Like it's amazing that we have this sort of coverage across events overseas and in here in America
Oh yeah, and Asia. Yeah,
and
we're
Asia.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
One thing about the meetup as well, if it won't just be the Pixelcraft games as well, because Gotchi Farmy has been really working hard on the sandbox experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, there it is, Golden Cross,
Beautiful.
and they're gonna be. It won't be the official debut, but it'll be definitely a live preview if we're able to get the games installed on these computers. Even if we're not, I think at the meetup, I'm sure there'll be some alpha dropped about the sandbox experience because it's looking really, really cool, and it will be almost close to going live at that time. So that's another cool thing to come for.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have dates pretty soon. So
Yeah.
the sandbox guys have been working really hands-on with the farming team and a bit with Pixelcraft. So really kudos to the sandbox team for being so caring and so involved, and they want to make it a big success too, and they see the effort farming team is putting into this. It's ambitious. They're using the sandbox game maker to the max.
Yeah, they're almost like as Gotchi Gang does, right? They're stress testing the kit, so that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they said something to that effect. One or two of the guys are like, this is exactly what we want. People coming in and really using our stack.
They showed me a little bit of the inner workings of like the game builder when they were first doing the demo, and I got to mess around with the game builder, and I was actually quite impressed. Like someone like me with like very little coding and dev skills was actually able to like manipulate things and actually like create in the game builder. So I'm actually excited for like the future of sandbox overall as well, and like what they're gonna allow to be built, by people like me or maybe people even a little bit more talented that have, like you say, can use the full kit. It's going to be really amazing.
I guess since we have a few minutes before the DAO call, I want to ask a question for the community. Do we want to do Twitter Spaces again as a community? I feel I've been doing a lot more of them with other communities, and I love it. And I wish we were doing them. What's the sentiment on that?
Well, we do Friday night block party, which is now a Twitter space, but of course we were doing a Gotchi space every Sunday, which was getting pretty lit back then. So, I'm up for more spaces if that's something we want to do. Let's figure out a good day to do them, and let's do it.
For
Yeah.
the ones that you're attending from other communities, like how many people are generally coming to that, and is it themed around like a more general theme, or is it very project specific?
Some of these are just like PFP projects, so it's just chill times. They're just coming and chilling. They'll get like 50, 60 people, Polygon people, sometimes more. And it'll be just the community chilling and talking. Some of them they play music on. They have community members who do art, so it's similar to what we do, very similar to what we do, but not really themed towards anything. Usually they'll talk about Web3 gaming in general or branding. There might be certain subjects they broach, but they tend to be just. I'm speaking specifically to Polygon spaces. Tends to be a lot
Mm-hmm.
of smaller communities that hang out, but kind of cross pollinate and mingle with each other. So if we did something, I think it would be very easy to get a whole bunch of the other Polygon homies because they kind of look up to us, but don't really understand or know a lot about us. So it's like whenever I get into spaces and they have questions, it becomes, like they want to know what we're doing. So I try to
Right.
be, brevity is the soul of wit, try to like drop it as quickly as I can. But if we did our own spaces, I think we can draw in a lot of people, especially since we're doing Running Pop season 2. I think we're one of the sponsors. So those are communities on Soul. Those are other Polygon communities, Ethereum communities. So it's, get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, if we have if it's like a set time and we want to we have people from the community that can hop on and kind of maintain the space and do it and host it, I think they're definitely a net benefit for the community to be doing those and interacting with other communities.
Yeah, I say this because like last night with Block Party, this is I think our second time or third time that we did it as a Twitter space in the same time slot. We had close to 30 people in there, and a lot of them were just people from High Seas Pirates, like other Polygon communities that like kind of know of us that just jumped in, and we were just playing games and talking, vibing and stuff. So it was chill, but it was a bigger crowd than we get when we just normally stream to Twitch, and it was diverse.
Yeah, I think kind of a common theme that I've been thinking about a lot is how to set up some of the processes now, since we are in like the deepest of the bear market part. Set up these processes and perfect them, and kind of start getting into a rhythm that's going to lead to success once the bull does return. And just having some strategies and rhythms that we know are going to help once the bull returns and things start getting wild again. So having these kind of ritualized experiences and like a spaces or schedules of when things go out and ways to onboard new friends and help them understand what this whole project is about, I think is really, really important. And it's kind of something that we haven't, I would say, is like from Pixelcraft CEO, we haven't done the best job at because it's been really hard because Aavegotchi has been kind of changing and iterating over the last 3 years here, and just kind of we're finally arriving at where I think obviously not the final endpoint forever, but at a more of a kind of like stable growth period where we have the products ready, the games are getting very close, and it's gonna we are like, if we do things right, play the cards right, we can definitely become this kind of like viral explosive growth kind of project. But to handle that, you need to have the correct processes set up so that when the tidal wave does come, you don't get destroyed by it. And I think we will. I think it's a new thing that I've been emphasizing to the team a lot in trying to set up these processes. So if having like regular Twitter spaces is a good, if we think that's a good part of that strategy, then I would say, yeah, then keep doing that and try to grow it and get new friends coming in every week, and then we can help onboard those friends and tell them about all the amazing games that we're working on.
I mean, it sounds great. I think the other half of this that often doesn't get talked about, but is perfect for the DAO hour, is make sure there's some plan for the workload that goes with it. It's work. So if somebody's responsible, then why are they responsible? Why are they motivated? Is there some sort of incentive or compensation? That's the other half of it every time, and then it can really like be consistent and something that we get into a rhythm on for months at a time, instead of just like try it for a few weeks and then give up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, up above, I dropped a link. It's the Chad's project. What they do is they have a calendar of Polygon Twitter spaces. So if we choose a space that fits within that schedule, we can get rolled into their raid rotation.
Nice.
That's great. That's the kind of stuff that, just by first step is you have to have a spaces, right? So that's great distribution, though. So. Yeah, I don't know if you plan doing it for free, or you have a more comprehensive SIG prop, but that's the kind of thing I'd get.
I would do it for free. Like if we pick 1 hour a week, I literally am just in Twitter spaces all week now. Like that's literally what I do for work all day. Just like that's what I'm doing. So if we have 1 hour that we pick and we can all agree on, I could be very consistent as long as it's not like at a weird hour for me doing it, and we can play around, play some games. We meet new game developers who I've been trying to onboard to come and look at us for Gotchi Chain. So I think it would be really cool, and we could do it very easily. Just 1 hour a week, as long as I have someone else that I can talk to. So it's not just me blabbering on like I'm usually doing. I could do it every week.
You got to have that co-host, right? You got to have at least two people to chat back and forth with. Otherwise, it's
You gotta
pretty
hold the
dull.
room. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the good thing though is with these other projects, they'll come up and speak just to help. Like they'll like
Yeah.
yesterday, Hefe was running a little late, so I went to a little group chat and I was like, "Help! I need help," and like 4 of them jumped up, so it was like smooth and was able to keep going.
Well, there's 60 plus people here. We all hang out every week. So not everybody likes to hop on stage, of course, but just know that door's wide open. I think anybody that attends one of these, we can all have a good time and intermingle with some of these other projects. So we're getting to that point where the product's ready and there's so much to share. And I love the idea of when you meet other devs or other potential game makers, we're definitely also entering this kind of new phase where it's going to be a lot easier to onboard them and point them in a direction and be like, you basically are plugging into an IP and an audience and an entire ecosystem if you just bring your talents to Aavegotchi. So hopefully, we can get our dev recruitment up too from the DAO side. That would be awesome. Because Quickscraft, we're busy. We're always chasing and introducing the Aavegotchi protocol to new people, new studios.
Yeah, before we get into DAO Call, last alpha of the call here, there's a big update coming to dap.aavegotchi.com next week. Just want to let everyone know it's going to be one of the biggest updates we've pushed to really improve the site in a while, and it really is going to set the stage for the next generation of Aavegotchi.com. So start looking forward to that. It should be coming out either Monday or sometime next week. It's the devs and myself have been working very, very hard on it, and it's of course there's nothing ever done, but really liking the direction, and it's definitely fitting with our new aesthetic, kind of the more 3D aesthetic. So I think it's going to be a great new first step for the UX of Aavegotchi.
Yeah. Without saying too much, it kind of segues off of what I was just saying, right? Like it'll be a tool you can use to introduce people to all the stuff that's already live and coming, and just a great centerpiece for introducing Aavegotchi to people.
Without further ado, we'll head over to DAO Call, friends.
DAO time. DAO Call time. Nice. Yeah, drop your DAO shields. The Dower. DAO hour. Hell yeah. Well, what do you say, friends? Should we start with our proposal review? Let's look at the proposals for this week, and then we'll get right into it real quick. I know Dr. Wagme and Lord Trivia had reached out to me because they're brewing something up, and just wanted to real quick mention, if Lord Trivia, you are in the audience, I'll definitely get you up. Just request to speak, and here we go. And I'm gonna run through the proposal review, and then right after that, you are welcome to have at it, sir. All right, I'm going to proposal review here. This one ended 6 days ago. Revamp the Aavegotchi rental protocol to support parcels and wearables. This was Ernani with Orium Guild, and overwhelming support for this protocol upgrade. 12 million over 9 million votes met quorum, and 93% of the DAO was in favor of this. So Orium Guild's gonna be working on the new rental upgrade for Aavegotchi DAO, or for the Aavegotchi protocol, which will allow rentals of parcels and wearables in addition to gotchis. So this is going to open up some new use cases, and the timing couldn't be better with this one, because with everything else that we just talked about over the last hour, eventually people will want to rent gotchis, try out gotchis, and maybe even try different wearables out. So this will be a good proposal to see come through. Agip 94. This is a core. Yeah, so this is actually the core proposal for the SIG prop that I just talked about. And let's see here. You have 1 week to get your votes for this. So far, looking good. Has not met quorum yet. We have 3 out of 9 million votes, and we're at 96% in favor of so far. So get your votes in, friends. Get your XP. Make sure you get that in. I like to do those today because if I don't do it today, I usually tend to forget, and we've all missed XP here and there. You know, it hurts during rarity farming, man. Let me tell you. Next proposal here. This is a fresh one. Gotcha Heroes reworked version proposal by Scrooger. And Gotcha Heroes is something he's been working on for quite a while, improving and iterating on it. Some of our friends in here have played Gotcha Heroes. They know what it's all about. And this is the updated proposal here. So TLDR, Gotcha Heroes reworked version is a culmination of valuable feedback that they've got over the last year and ultimately want to create a fun to play Aavegotchi idle game. So they're doing a graphics remap. So the games and items are all the artwork is going to get revamped. Fully animated battles between Aavegotchis and monsters. So you can actually witness the epic fights that are happening in real, right before your eyes. Completely designed UI UX to provide a better and smoother gaming experience. Introduction of numerous new features. So there's going to be new ways of progression, leveling up, achievements, dungeon gameplay mode, and an in-game item crafting system, in addition to boss battles, loot systems, and pets. So really quite a bit there. And then finally, balancing the leaderboard and the leaderboard climbing experience, and reducing the presence of pay-to-win elements. So again, I think we're seeing a trend in Web3 gaming where we're realizing we need to have these low pressure, low investment ways to get involved and get that experience up front with the game before buying items and stuff. Finally, we have worked on balancing the leaderboard. So, and then this is of course going to lead to greater things. They've been iterating on this for a while. There's some really cool artwork in there. And yeah, check it out for yourself, friends. The proposal is quite extensive. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you got the gist of it there. I always appreciate the TLDR. It's really helpful for these meetings. And let's just look at the cost breakdown here real quick. Front-end development, $30K, graphic rework, $10K, back-end development, $10K. So total asking budget is $50K for the complete rework with all the other features added in. So it's an exciting journey. Thank you for putting together such a detailed, well put together proposal. Friends, check it out. Go look for yourselves and get your votes in on this. And yeah, absolutely. Scrooger, if you would like to come up during the meeting today and talk about your proposal, you're more than welcome to. Just request to speak and I'll get you up here. And I think that wraps up the proposal review for this week. You have 7 days for the Gotcha Heroes and you have 1 week for the new Agap 94. So get your votes in. Lord Trivia. We have Lord Trivia on stage. Welcome, sir.
Hey, GM, everyone. How are we?
Excellent, sir. Excellent.
Happy to be here on this lovely Saturday morning. What's up, No Future, Dan, Jesse, everyone else I see down there? Join up.
The whole crew.
Hey, GM, sir.
GM. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Look, I don't want to take up too much of the DAO's time because I imagine next week we'll probably be going over things in a bit of detail. But we've been cooking up some stuff over at Freckle. I hope all of y'all remember how much fun our few trivia events have been with Aavegotchi. And we've been cooking up a new game show over here behind closed doors. And we were looking to take that experience to the next level by partnering with a project that we love so near and dear. So I'm cooking up a little proposal to put in front of the DAO probably for next week. And I'm very, very excited.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm sure people are just thinking of what this could possibly be. We've all played Lord Trivia's Aavegotchi. I know I played the Aavegotchi themed ones, a couple of them, and I'm just curious to know, man. Is there any is there any kind of like pre-alpha? I know the real alpha is
course.
probably going to come when, next week when we have a more in-depth deep dive. Is there any like little nuggets you want to drop on this one?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, most of you know that our game show, our trivia, is a very easy to digest format. We have players in over 100 countries playing every day. We have children, we have adults, we have grandparents. Everyone's playing this game, and it's amazing because it's so easy to play. So in that same vein, we want to create easily digestible game show experiences that anybody can pick up and play. So this next game we're calling WTF, or excuse my language, but what the fuck is that? And it's a object guessing game. That still very much so operates like our trivia in terms of interactivity, rewards, and the quickness of guessing. But this is something that really lends itself to a super fun daily experience that you could tune in for like 60 to 90 seconds every day and start winning some stuff in both Freckle and Gotchi's ecosystem. And if I keep going, I'll just tell you the whole thing.
No, man, that's excellent. That gives us something to be really excited about. Yeah, that's definitely something I'll be getting on board with, and even talking about Twitter Spaces and gaming while we're in Spaces, like this sort of thing, totally makes sense for a lot of these community hangouts. Yeah, thank you for giving a little bit of a preview here. Is there anything else you would like to, anything else you'd like to touch on, or should we save the real nitty gritty details for next week?
No, I think I've been urged to make a post in the proper forums, in those proper channels, and go through things that way. But I really am grateful for all the support that the DAO's given us in the past, because you all are such great homies, and obviously Jesse, Jason, Coder, Dan, like you guys are homies too, and you guys have been amazing. So this is really a way for us to further solidify and deepen our relationship with a project that we feel is probably amongst the best that we've collaborated with since we started a little over a year ago. So it means a lot, and I think it's going to be very exciting if all of us are driving at something together for the first time.
Oh, absolutely, man. Real recognize real for sure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more of that next week. And friends, be sure to be here next week, 3 p.m. UTC for the DAO call. And we'll be, if you want more of that alpha, you want to be around for that. So,
thanks. I'm going to turn from Lord Trivia to Lord Pitch'em.
Do it. Awesome. All right. Well, that being said, friends, we also have Scrooger up here who just has a fresh proposal out for us. And Scrooger, I want to give you the stage as well, and give you a chance to kind of talk about your project. I know it's something you guys have been working really hard on for quite a long time, and definitely OG Gotchi gang here. So, yeah, I'll give you the stage.
Thanks, Efe. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, man, Gotchiverse has been going for a little bit over maybe a year and a half. And yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with our seasons. We normally have a season every other week, and then the season lasts about 2 weeks, and our ghost prizes and Giro prizes, and we give away free booster packs and NFTs. So it's good, man. It's good fun for the people who kind of like the idle game style. You don't have to actively play it the whole time, but checking in every day, changing your gear up, getting your strategy ready. So it's quite fun, man. We just ended our 8th season. Payouts should be going out soon. And yeah, it was fun checking the leaderboard, shifting around and moving near the end, when everyone gets their best gear on. And it was one of those popcorn moments where I just wanted to get my own popcorn and just like see what's happening, because it's interesting to see the players just battling it out for top spots. But yeah,
100%.
yeah. Regarding the proposal, this is actually the second one, because the first one I kind of messed up. I made it single voting, which I didn't know was like a little bit frowned upon. It was not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I
because
actually should have probably told you that, or we should actually have some somewhere where friends can go and just look at the proposals. It's like posting proposals.
yeah,
Just
I was checking the rules. I know you guys have like a outline, and I was checking that and like studying it and like, okay, and we've been working on this proposal for like quite some time, and posting it and like, okay, yeah, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden like, where's your weighted voting? And I was like, oh crap, what is this? And I had to quickly like figure it out. And I was a little bit bummed out deleting the old one, because I think it did quite well. We got like 3 million to quorum. Like it was good, but sadly, yeah, we had to delete the old one, get the new one up, because yeah, that's the way it should be. And so far so good. We got a pretty positive response. I really appreciate everyone who voted in the first one, and I do apologize for everyone who voted in the first one and now have to vote again. But
Yeah,
what can I
but
say?
then again, between then and now, you haven't done anything to change that sentiment. So I wouldn't be, I wouldn't beat yourself up for that. I think, I'm pretty sure I've had to do this once myself. So I think we all kind of go through that. And I agree with my Calm there that maybe that's something, let's figure out a mission statement. Let's get the group together. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then, it can lead to things like this.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. I was
But
just thinking to myself the whole time, like, yeah, mistakes were made, shots were fired. Like, let's just fix it. Like there
yeah.
there is a fix, even though it's not comfortable to do it, and like I don't want to do a second proposal, but yeah, man, like we learn from our mistakes, and we learn as we go, and I love that about this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much iterative process within the DAO, and I think we have good energy here to support each other when we're trying to, non-judgmental attitudes towards building, and I think that's good. So, in regards to your revamp here for Gotcha Heroes, what are some of the things that you're? Of course, I did like a little bit of a TLDR, and I appreciate that you put that in there. But is there anything specific that you wanted to touch on in the proposal? Things you might be excited about, or things that you found were a challenge in the last iteration that now you're gonna go improve upon? Yeah, anything kind of that really stood out to you in this that you want to emphasize in this proposal?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Thanks. Good question. Yeah. The thing is, like, we've been just doing this whole game browser based, like HTML. So it's been looking yeah, it's very plain, even though there's a lot of going on, a lot of stuff going on in the background. I'm posting a little screenshot of the current gameplay, and now moving forward and moving it to Unity, it's going to be so much better. We have so much more stuff to work with that I'm looking forward to just having a whole new game engine. We can add new mechanics so much
That.
so much easily. So it's going to be a whole new experience for anyone who has tried it before. I think as soon as they try the new one, it'll blow them away. So yeah, I'm super stoked. We just started and we just created some simple graphics just to get the proposal out there. But we have we have a ton of ideas. Every day we're just getting new ideas in, and we're just like brainstorming, and it's fun, man. Thinking of all the possibilities, and in the end, I just want to create an Alchemica sync. That's the main goal for me. Even though it's a game and it's fun and everything, like I want to I want our game to be useful to the DAO. Like there's been a lot of mini games, and even though they're really fun to play, Gotchi Miner was one of the best ones to play. I had so much fun with that. But yeah, we need to create some more syncs, to get the Alchemica out, and our game. We're spending Ghost. We're using Ghost for pretty much everything. Staking Ghost. So yeah, it's fun just integrating ourselves into the Aavegotchi universe, and you know being a part of something bigger. And yeah, like I said, but yeah, to take it to the next level, uh, thing uh, all over again. But it's something I really look forward to.
Improvement. And I'm reading some of the comment from Coder Dan here. Thankful to have you guys for Gotcha Heroes. Hope the community will continue to support such passionate game devs. Absolutely.
Thank you, Dan. Really appreciate that.
And so, I'm just realizing this now. Maybe there's some friends that haven't played Gotcha Heroes, or maybe this is their first time. It's unlikely because you've been here before, but do you want to just like real quick, just give people an idea what like how are people going to play this experience? How are people going to play this game?
Yeah, it's an idle game, so it's very simple. You know, if you have a gotchi, then well, pretty much if you have a gotchi, you can earn some extra ghosts. Hop into the game, get the starter pack. That's the only thing you need to actually purchase, which is 15 ghost. You know, it gives you basically just the recommended items. You know, you get a weapon, you get a few items just to start off. But yeah, we do like free items the whole time, so it's not something that you have to invest in constantly. You know, you like we
Mm-hmm.
have our free items that we drop every 24 hours. So we have quite a few players who they only have a gotchi and they only purchase their starter pack, and yeah, they just play and they rank up and they get their season rewards. So yeah, it's quite easy to opt into once you get the basics. We got a YouTube video up for if you need to just get the hang of the game. So
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
it's
Definitely
it's
drop that
smooth.
YouTube video for friends so they can, and also the link for Gotchi Heroes so they can check it out and
Oh, for sure, yeah.
get a feel for it themselves. But we're already farming off season, friends. This is when we can play some of these other games. Yeah, Cry for
Definitely,
Crypto. We'll drop
yeah.
the link here for you so you can go check it out. Also, there you go. No, this is awesome. Anything else you want to add here? Do point people to where they can give some feedback? Is there a forum post, or anything else really you'd want to add regards to Gotcha Heroes?
I think if you just hop into our Discord, then you're pretty much set. You know, just come, hop in, have a chat. Like we already got a pretty decent community going who's eager to help out, and like you can just get you started. Like if you have any questions, because there is a little bit of a learning curve. You know, it's not just a jump in and like, oh, let's make money kind of game. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
you need to get your strategy right, and you need to get your base items. You need to know what you're doing. You know,
Yes.
but yeah, we got helping hands. Hardcore, for instance, like yeah, man, he's been battling it out a lot with some of the other players. You know, he's one of our top players, and he's been giving us a hard time, which is really appreciated and fun. So yeah, yeah, it's good, man. It's really fun. Just try it out. That's all I can say. You know,
Yeah.
if it's your kind of game, you don't have to like actively play it the whole time. Like I said, jump in once every day or once every 2 days. Uh, Especially when we're having our seasons. You know, when we're not having a season, it's no point in actually joining into the game. But we normally work on upgrades and changes and stuff to just make the game a little bit better during the off season time. And then when we start a new season, there's normally a few new features or a few new fixes if there are any bugs. So yeah, yeah, it's just jump in, man.
It gives me Pokemon battle vibes. Just looking at some of the
Almost.
gameplay
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. If anyone is a fan of like clicker heroes or cookie clicker or the normal clicker games where normally you have to click your mouse like a million times to rank up and
Mm-hmm.
get your hits in and everything, but yeah, we moved away from the clicker part and just moved to like a kind of like a damage per second because clicking can always be manipulated. You know, you just install a little app and it clicks for you automatically, so no point in that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's just an idle game. You know, you equip your gear, you use your skills, and the game pretty much plays itself. You know, you don't have to run around and do stuff, but yeah,
Get that
it just
dopamine hit.
does. Yeah, especially especially every day when you get
Yeah,
your new fresh items, and
absolutely.
getting two of the same items, you can merge them together to make them stronger. You can work on certain builds if you're a tech build, or if you maybe want to do like a critical hit, critical damage build. Like you can do that. That's fine. There's really like quite a bit of possibilities there for maybe like an RPG style build. You know, it's
Yeah.
not something that you just put your items on and okay, it's gonna be great. You know, you have to kind of like think a little bit of what you're going to do just to get the maximum out of your Aavegotchi. and
Yeah.
every trait of the Aavegotchi plays a role. So yeah, having a good Aavegotchi does help a
It
lot.
matters. Okay, this is
It
good to
matters
know, friends.
definitely. Yeah.
Dropping the alpha right now. No, this is great. Friends, vote on this proposal. You do have quite a bit of time left on it. But like I said, I always try and get my votes in on Sunday because then I tend to forget later in the week. So better to just do it now. And Scrooger, anything else you want to add regards to this proposal? Gotcha Heroes, anything else?
No, I think we're good. I just want to once again thank everyone who did vote on the first one, and I do apologize for for votes kind of wasted, because we did resubmit the proposal to get the right voting system in place. Uh, but yeah, I just want to appreciate everyone who did their part in voting, and thank you so much for supporting the project.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, friends. I think we can move on to. Oh, have you bid on some fakes today? Phase saying, hey, if there's any juicy auctions going, I always welcome. You can drop them in the chat. You know, get get people going on that. But we can move into the mission statement now, and we're getting real close, friends. We've been working hard on this for hardcore. I know you kicked it off like a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, and kind of just collecting feedback and aggregating just opinions and making sure that enough of a window was held open for anyone that wanted to contribute to this. There's multiple avenues, through meetings, through the forum post, through a working group, and so Phantasma picked up the initiative once again and has kind of aggregated all the information into a document. I actually don't have the document open right now, but if someone can drop the link to it, it has all the, and I'm not going to go through the document today because it's quite extensive, but it has all the aggregated opinions and basically all the work that's happened up until this point with the mission statement, which is like the first piece of like Aavegotchi's like organizational structure is like what's our unified mission? Why are we all here? What brought us to the protocol? And so let's get into the mission statement here. There was actually some really good conversation happening this morning, like 10 minutes before the DAO call. And so I will head over to the forum post here. And friends, if you have anything to add, you can either, you can comment in the DAO, Aavegotchi DAO Vision forum post, or you can comment here, and I'll do my best to address both. So what do we have so far? What we have so far is let me just get the and we're down to the mission statement being like the gist of it being complete, but now we're essentially looking at just wording and doing some fine tuning here. And of course, any feedback is welcome. So just give me a minute here to get the
Can you also
statement.
drop a link to the document that Phantasma put together that had the graphics on it from last week?
Did you drop it?
No, I'm asking if you have that link.
Oh no, I just said at the start of the meeting I don't have it open. So
Oh, dang. All right.
I'm gonna drop this image here though. But I mean that document is super long. It's something, if friends want to go through it on their own time to catch up, that's essentially what that document was for. Um, you know, it's quite a long doc. It has everything that we've discussed over the last. Oh, there it is. Phantasma dropped it. So, friends, if you want to have a look, like if you haven't really been part of the mission vision discussion and you want to catch up reasonably quickly, then that document is a great way to do that. So, this is sort the gist of what we have so far for Aavegotchi DAO. To empower Gotchi Gang, our mission to empower Gotchi Gang to own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. And so this is I think we've captured the gist of what we want in our mission statement. Now it's a matter of what words, I think Gotchi Gang has been a contested word where there's been this debate of exclusivity versus inclusivity. How do people, like, let's talk about that first. Do we want to include this sort of language, Gotchi Gang, in our mission statement? Or I know Coder Dan, I think, mentioned individuals. Some people said people could be inclusive enough. Let's see what people say here.
I personally do not mind having Gotchi Gang in it because Gotchi Gang is open. You can be. I know people brought up the role thing. We could talk about that, but Gotchi Gang is a culture, So I don't think it's inclusive in that sense that if you're down, you're down. Like you're part of us, you're Gotchi Gang. So I don't. I get the role aspect and how that could be bothersome, but I think we can tweak that without losing Gotchi Gang in this statement.
I think a question I ask myself when I look at mission statements is how is like everything in branding and mission statements and all that, it's a battle for someone's mind. Like you're trying to capture someone's attention with that. And so who's the prospect? Whose attention are we trying to grab? If it's gamers, and people that are interested in building games, I I just don't know if Gotchi Gang, like, they're not Gotchi Gang yet. You know what I mean? I mean, it is like a gang, like you're part of the crew, but if you're not, then it just feels like something else. Like it's like I'm not Gotchi Gang. I'm just a game developer, you know. But I
Yeah,
don't.
I see what Porter Dan is saying here too. Including Gotcha Gang to me sounds too niche. So it is. We are
Yeah,
painting ourselves into a corner.
yeah, I
So
agree.
maybe to empower gamers to own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the gamers are a prospect, right? So that's whose mind we want to position ourselves into is someone who likes games, or someone who
Yeah, instead
builds
of saying
games.
Web3 gamers, which paints us into another corner, we say gamers. Like we're just
I
like,
would say
hey,
that,
like, yeah.
I mean, the point of a mission statement is to clarify and explain very clearly, crystal clear, what we're trying to do. It's also something that we'll be evangelizing to prospective people looking into what this community is all about.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Gotchi Gang is kind of our, it's like a pet name like we have for what we are as a community. It's like a shorthand, but it's not really appropriate for something that people outside are going to be, coming in and seeing like Gotchi Gang. To me, it feels a bit like a little off-putting if I'm not already a member of the Gotchi Gang. I'm gonna be like, oh, they just care about themselves. For gamers, I think there's a lot of associations with gamers that I mean, we don't need to use that. It's something we can easily avoid. Um, it's kind of like using friends, right? Friends is kind of a term that we like to use, and it's very colloquial, but it also has like associations outside of our community that would not make it a good candidate for like a mission statement. So I think something like individuals or contributors or members is still allows us to keep this sense of kind of you have to be in our group to get these benefits while also not being too off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on that, on
No, I
this
agree with.
discussion so far.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the positioning aspect of things. Like it's not about we shouldn't be thinking about this internally of like how do we want to express ourselves to everybody else, but how we want to position ourselves in their minds when they read the mission statement. And so yeah, Gotchi Gang is something that might not make sense to like a lot of people because they don't even know what a Gotchi Gang is. Maybe they're just learning about Aavegotchi. Hey, there's this like DAO that's building games. And eventually, I see Mikey J also saying Gotchi Gang could be part of the vision statement, but probably not in the mission statement that people are going to read right after they find out about Aavegotchi DAO. And so maybe just going to slip a few words in here. Just let's see how it sounds. To empower individuals to own, build, grow, self govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. Individuals.
I saw in the comments participants, and I kind of like that better
Participants.
because the idea is like we have artists here who are onboarded through fake gotchis, not necessarily the game. We have investors, we have gameplay people, we have people who are making content, we have developers who are developing games and or tools. They're not necessarily gamers, you know. So participants, they're create, you know, their own creation, a metaverse of their own creation. It's the participants. You can be a participant, uh, which is part of our group versus an individual.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, participant does kind of it does it is a little bit more open for sure. But I see Mikey J also saying participants kind of sounds sterile or clinical. Like it's, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I see Choina also putting one in here as well to empower anyone to own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. Isn't this true? Like, can't anybody come in here and do this? Like
I
that's
think Phantasma had a good point in that thread, which is it's you to join you like it can be anyone, but that anyone generally needs to have some form of asset, whether it's an Aavegotchi, a land, uh, some Alchemica. Like we're generally most of these experiences are reserved for asset holders, but we don't want to say asset holders in a vision statement.
yes, definitely not.
So I think my point is like members. I think is the same way of getting that point across, and where we can show here's the threshold for becoming a member. Maybe, I mean, we also have like Gotchi lending, which kind of blurs the lines. But if we wanted to have it a little bit more exclusive and not just say anyone, I think members would be the way to go. But anyone is also, I think, also sounds pretty good. It's just we wouldn't have that kind of exclusivity if that's something we think is necessary.
Hmm.
Because
Well,
we should think about obviously the bulk of the value comes from being part of the community. Like Gotchi Heroes is a good example. They've been in this community. Scrooger has been here for a long time, has built something that brings value to the community, and is now asking for funding from the community. So he's done things a great way. Now, if he didn't have any Aavegotchis, would I don't know how many Gotchis he has, probably quite a few, but if he didn't have any, how would the community view him coming and bringing value to the community by building a game and then asking for funding? Is that something that the DAO would like, or they mind? Do we care if he has Gotchis, if he is an asset holder? Like you said, he's he's building this game to bring value to Alchemica, which is great. But what if he wasn't doing that? What if he just was building this game because he likes the Aavegotchi IP, and there's people that want to play the game?
yeah, absolutely. And I
I
have
think it's
another.
worth thinking about.
I do have another example. We some of us might remember Rigo Mortis. He actually came into our community with no Gotchi at all. Couldn't buy one up front. But what he did do is launch his own art project, and this is pre-fake Gotchis. Launched his own NFT art project, Aavegotchi themed, and used the funds from the community buying his Aavegotchi art to buy his first Gotchi. So that's somebody who kind of got onboarded in a slightly different way, where they came in as a community member and then became kind of like a Gotchi gang member, or DAO member, I guess you could say.
I also want to use the example from yesterday. We met a guy named arcadeed.io. He has like a Polygon project coming out, and he has these like retro looking games that are built on to these arcade NFTs. And I was telling him, I was like, yo, you should come over to the DAO because like Gotchi Chain, I think these games, if you kitted them out for Aavegotchis, would be great game loops. There was like a little racer game. It all looked like 90s era games. So I figured because like I was like, hey man, this would look great, and I think the DAO would support something like this. Is that something that also wouldn't work because he doesn't own a Gotchi, but he's being invited in, sort of.
Yeah. Let's read some of the comments here as well. So some good conversation going on here. People talking about community being used as a word instead of Gotchi gang. But also, I agree with Coder Dan that members is kind of a nice way of keeping things a bit exclusive while also sounding open. Like you can become a member, um, you know, in Aavegotchi DAO, and maybe we don't need to specify like how you become a member. Like Rigo became a member differently than how I became a member, but we all became members eventually because we wanted to participate in this experience of doing all these things. So, um,
I don't know if many more of these contracts.
Sorry, hot mic, sir. Go ahead and mute you.
yeah, let's see here. What are people saying? Anyone sounds great, but defines us as a charity pretty much. Yeah, I guess maybe that's a little bit too wide open where it's just like anybody, just anybody, you know? I mean, it's like we do look like there's a specific archetype or a specific person or group of type of people that come here and participate in the DAO. So, because that's sort of the Gotchi dream. Okay, so Lagan has another point here. Because that's sort of the Gotchi dream, speaking to anyone. Anyone can come in here, meet good people, learn stuff, own stuff, eventually maybe build something. And then Choina saying, to empower our community to own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation.
To be honest, I think members is the most concise because if we we're gonna end up making this longer and longer.
Yeah, we don't want to make it even like a single word longer than what it is right now.
Yeah.
If anything,
to empower
like
members
we're
to
borderline.
own, build, grow, self-govern, and play. I think it works.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of? I wrote just at the top there to create a community where members, because like the current one doesn't really mention community.
Yeah.
We're just saying the members. I mean, and that kind of means the DAO, I guess, becoming a DAO member, but it's not as, I guess, clear about what they're joining. So maybe adding in the community part makes that a little bit clearer.
Yeah,
but yeah, I
bit of
totally
a rework
agree.
at the start there.
My only issue is you lose the word empower.
Yeah.
Well, you could say to empower a community where members can own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of our own creation. Because, I mean, technically, you know, it says to create, but we've already kind of created that. Like, in my opinion, we're thriving as a community. But we could go further and empower the community where members can own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of our own creation.
Mikey J threw a good one out there, but I'm gonna change one word. To foster a community that empowers members to own, build, grow, and play in a multiverse of their own creation.
Yeah, I don't think we want to use gamers. So not everyone in this community is a gamer.
That is true. Or maybe just a slight tweak to Coder Dan's, you know, with Mikey J's to foster. So you could say to foster a community where members can own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of our own creation.
Is to foster and then also to empower a little redundant? That's just
A little bit. It does sound a bit word salady. I think for this, like, we should decide what we want the main noun to be. Do we want members, participants, contributors?
We should ask nouns DAO.
Gamers.
They should give their input.
Yeah.
Give us a noun.
The original one or the forked version?
Let's do a little emoji vote here. What are our options? We got anyone.
Member is the top choice. I think just to empower members to own, build, grow, self-govern.
Yeah, let me put a little vote together here. So anyone, members, and to foster.
And then, I mean, once we are fairly happy with this, I think everyone should think about some of like Phantasma's been kind of thinking about the secondary effects of this, like, and imagine different cases how people will interpret it. Like you said, if I'm just an average Joe discovering this community, should I feel it's my right to come in and ask for $20,000 for something? Just because, hey, well, your mission statement or your vision said I can, so why are you guys being so harsh?
Mm-hmm.
So I think members is a good fine line, and then having a clear definition of what it means to be a member is going to be necessary if we go that route.
Yeah, so we got 6 votes for members, 7 votes for members now. So members is overwhelming. I think we're definitely leaning towards members there. So where members own, build, grow, and play in a multiverse of their own creation, and then we're also seeing here to empower, between to foster and to empower. So
To foster is down bad.
to empower. To empower a community where members own, build, grow, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. What do we think about that, friends? To empower a community where members own, build, grow, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. Empower where it doesn't quite work grammatically. Okay, we definitely want to be grammatically. To empower a community. Okay, yeah. To empower a community to own, build, grow, and play in a multiverse of their own creation, you empower people to do something. Yeah, understood.
I saw someone mention above to empower versus empowering a community to own, build, grow. What are thoughts on that?
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's like I'm glad we're getting close here, and I think this just comes down to how the mission, like how it would look. Like, would it be like our mission, and then our mission would be to empower or empowering? I don't know. That's more of like a grammatical thing, I think. Empowering instead of to empower. So Mikey J coming in here. The to verb is stronger for mission statement. Using a present participle sounds more like a marketing slogan. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't have expertise in that area. So yeah, okay. So then we're gonna keep the 2, right? So let's drop this down here. Let's drop this down. Where is it? Here we go. We're getting close, friends. To empower. Oh no, that's not it.
To be honest, I think the original one from the before this discussion is pretty close. I mean, I think all the new stuff that we've discussed kind of is a bit word salady when I read it. Like, just to empower members to own, build, self-grow, self-govern, and play sounds honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we say a community, then we need a spin-off fake Gotchi series of the community, but with Gotchis, and that's a lot of work.
Okay, so just to wrap it up here, with the mission statement, to empower. Hang on. Let me get the actual original image here. There we go. Okay. So that's the mission statement there. So to empower members to own, build, grow, self-govern, and play in a multiverse of their own creation. Is that pretty close to what we want? It's kind of come down to splitting hairs at this point because I think the meaning is not lost in either of those. Either of those mission statements.
Yeah, I think Mikey J, if this was in the context of like saying what is the vision of Aavegotchi DAO, it would be pretty clear that it's the members of the DAO. So you would say the vision of Aavegotchi DAO is what? To empower members, which is referring back to the DAO, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, we've had a pretty good discussion around the mission statement. I feel like we're getting so close, friends, to what the final statement will be. But also another piece of this is like, what's next? Okay, we're going to come up with our mission statement, but what's the next actionable steps that we can take to continue building out this framework? I think the next step in my mind would be to get together a working group of people who are interested, most likely people who have already been contributing to this in the DAO vision and mission thread. And actually, yeah, I agree. Basically, Mikey J sums it up. Yeah. Need to define what a member is. Do you think that would be defined in the vision statement? Or is that something that needs to be inclusive in the actual mission statement?
No, I think that would be something like separate.
Like the vision thing, maybe.
If the vision includes like an exclusive term like members or asset holders or something like that, I think we would need to. It doesn't need to be in the mission or vision statement, but somewhere it needs to be defined in what a member is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really something that I've enjoyed so far. I would be happy to be part of a working group. Like, we can get a working group together now that we have a really good idea of something that we can build off of. And, I think this is a large enough initiative for the DAO that it should be compensated for. And so getting a working group together, coming up with a proposal to the DAO of the deliverables, which would be, the complete mission statement with the vision statement for the DAO, I think would be a great place to begin further development. Mikey J, a vision statement should speak towards where we see Aavegotchi DAO a few years from now. What's the big picture of what we're trying to get done? It should be more specific and detailed than the mission. Absolutely. And I think this is where the larger conversation is also going to happen within this working group. Just real quick, hands up, like, who in the audience would be interested in being part of a working group? Is it a small group of people? Do we have a lot of people in here that would want to be part of this and build it out? I just want to get a little bit of an idea. Like, if you're interested in being part of this working group, let's see here. Hit this raffle emoji if you're interested in this working group. If this is something you want to be a part of and get involved with directly, hit that little raffle button and let's give me an idea of how many people are actually interested in this. Dang, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we got some real serious folks in here. I think we should get a working group together, and so I'm happy to get that group together, and collectively as a group, then we can figure out the other details, what the proposal should look like, how much compensation does the group want for this sort of thing, and I think that's the next way we can move forward in this. 13 people is quite a few. And, I'm sure within that group, we'll get a whole bunch of diverse opinions. And that being said, though, like, I just put an emoji thing out there. Like, if you're listening to this recording and you actually want to be part of this group now, definitely reach out to me and we can get this going, friends. interested because it must have been done way back. Yeah, it was done way back. But it was I think we're very much in like a feedback collection phase for quite a while. And it's good because like nobody can now come and say, "Hey man, like I wasn't included in that mission. I wasn't included in that mission discussion." But it's like, "Hey man, we've been talking about this for a year and a half." So does that sound good to people? Does that Yeah. I disagree, McCallum. I honestly would have to disagree with that. I think there's so many, it's such a complex organization, like many people doing many things. Want to make sure everybody got a chance to provide feedback and feel kind of included as a part of this. So yeah, why don't we? I think that's the next step there into
And do we
vision.
need an actual committee group for it, or this thread has worked fairly well? I
We
mean,
can
you
try keep going down the thread route, and maybe we change maybe we now move on from the mission discussion within that thread, and we focus more on the vision. We could do it that way, as opposed to having like a closed working group. Then that way, anybody can come in there and provide their feedback. That works as well. Mikey J agreeing. I think the thread can work, but I think the mission should be passed in a prop before we go too deep into vision. So we're thinking just a proposal that goes out on goes through snapshot and hey, this is the mission statement for Aavegotchi DAO. Like, vote to confirm this mission statement, or you do not agree with this mission statement. Is this kind of what we're thinking? Yeah, I agree, Floor Sweeper. And Phantasma also elaborating a bit here. The idea is for a paid vision statement team that does the busy work of implementation, so budgets and more like organizational stuff on top of the mission statement and vision statement. And then Mikey J also saying, understanding the mission statement is so key before working on the vision. We need credible feedback from voters to proceed. Okay. What do we think of that? Do we think we should just go forward with the mission proposal? This is our mission. This is what we're proposing to Aavegotchi DAO. Musashi, what are you asking specifically? This working group is for the vision and mission statement creation. Yeah, I was just suggesting we get together a working group, but other DAO members here also just suggesting we can keep it in the forums, which I'm not totally opposed to either. I think that works as well. Okay, yeah, mission is pretty much done in code to prop and was volunteer basis. Vision is more involved and should be a paid team. That being said, though, I think we can definitely get that vision feedback going. And if you have something you've already been thinking in line of vision for the mission statement that we have so far, let's get that conversation going in that forum thread, and we'll take it from there. So maybe this week I'll is anybody actually interested in putting out this proposal for the mission statement? I know Phantasma, you kind of kicked it off, and you're of course welcome to put that proposal out there as well. Otherwise, I could take what we have here and just get that final mission statement and put it in a proposal this week, if you guys want. Just something very short and simple, nothing too complex. Yeah, I agree. I would like to give Phantasma the opportunity for sure. Yeah, Phantasma. We should have a splitting contract for that. I agree. Oh man. But honestly, like everybody who's been involved on a volunteer basis, thank you guys. Like really appreciate the feedback. And I'm glad we can integrate like what everybody feels about this as part of the mission statement. I don't have anything
Yep.
else in regards to this. Coder Dan, Golden Cross, no future.
No, I think this. I'm also gonna have to head out here, friends.
Mhm.
But yeah, good progress.
Are you still on the road? Are you still traveling? Are you out and about?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm right now. I'm in Spain
Oh,
and
man.
just making my way over to Barcelona, and just
What's
hitting some nice cafes and stuff on the way.
what's the weather like out in Spain right now?
Perfect. Honestly,
Oh man.
It's a little bit hot, but no humidity. I'm loving it.
Oh man, you enjoy that for sure. And we'll catch up with you next week. We'll catch up with all of you next week, actually, during the next DAO call. And in the meantime, keep an eye out for Twitter Spaces. We do a Twitter Space every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, called Block Party, where No Future and I we chop it up. We talk to people building games and doing cool things, and we also play some games as well. So it's a good time. And we'll probably get another Gotchi Gang Spaces going as well. So.
All right, friends.
Yeah. Lastly, Orium Game Night Thursday nights we do that. Also, remember the core prop AGIP 94, I believe is the number for revamping the Aavegotchi rental protocol.
Excellent.
Is that live yet?
Mm-hmm.
That is live. It
yep.
went live yesterday.
Ah, very cool.
Yep.
Let's
Your
get some
votes
quorum,
in, friends.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Get that XP. I like to do it on Sunday because you'll forget. I always do. Enjoy your week, friends. Much love. Thank you for coming out to the DAO Call and Community Hangout, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep. See you, friends. Have a great week. Stay awesome.